Right, what's up guys? I'm going to do another video, and this video is kind of based on an old memory I have of one of my earlier YouTube videos, and I am surprised back then that I didn't even think of telling you that story, because it goes hand in hand with the, maybe I'll do a repost and talk about that. I mean, make another video. I mean, this is one of the, I'm going to make reference to a real old video that I did like my earlier days of YouTube. And I'm thinking about making it again. I had a thing where I actually laughed when I was in a church in my younger days, like over 20 years ago. I had my beefs with religion. You guys know on YouTube, under circumstance how I accept it. Now I say on YouTube how I can't stand some aspects of atheism and some aspects of religion, both, and under certain circumstances, some extreme versions of feminism, but I am not by any means on the side of the male chauvinist either. I believe in this world all kind of shit ain't right. But I made a story about like there was one pretty nice priest and all that. You know how people talk about they had visions when they were sick and a light came up to them. But see, I damn near making a video about that story anyway. I didn't mean to laugh. This priest was kind of cool. But, alright, I'll go ahead and say it right now. But even though I was originally making a video about how I hit a guy in the face with a Bible, this video really was, and still is, what I was going to tell the story. But, yeah, I'll finish the rest of the story and say, well, one of them things you talk in church and say it's a priest you like a little bit. Somebody invited me to their church and I didn't mean to laugh, but I was disguising it as a cough. Where you ever talk? I mean, it's not that I'm not no die-hard, like say atheist, where I don't have respect for anybody. I try to be nice to everybody, even though I can't stand religion. Some atheism I get down. But yeah, I didn't. One of them deals where I didn't mean to laugh, and I was trying to cover up with a cough because of his story about a light came up to him, and I don't know how he's describing it, was like some kind of, sphere of light that was supposed to be a good thing, and I disguised it with a cough because I got this picture in my head of an old movie. I don't know if some of you guys are into, or whether you're into them or not, old sci-fi movies. Maybe you might have been on TV, might have been on HBO, a home box office. Any of you guys outside of my country, we have a thing called HBO, home box office. Now you got shitloads of channels, whether you're in my country or any other country. But an old movie that was like a spin-off of the movie Life Force. You'd have to look that up after while you're watching this video. Look up the movie Life Force and look up a movie called Strange Invaders. And there was this movie Strange Invaders that was a spin-off of Life Force. These alien beings take all your life force out, but in the movie Strange Invaders, not only was the body just shriveled up like a raisin or something, there was a sphere of light left in the room and floating in the air, like their spirit was still floating in the air through the sphere, and they were going either calling to your protagonist's name in the movie that happens upon the people that got drained. John, help me! Or some kind of shit like that. I had that in my head, and when and I was disguised. I had that playing in my head because his description of his little encounter with, angels or whatever sounded almost like this, and that played in my head, and it resembled it so much I started almost laughing. Trying not to laugh, trying to disguise it as a cough, instead of like, I was kind of, I don't know if you ever guys tried to, I'm trying to say this without laughing because it's a fond memory. You guys ever tried to disguise a laugh that you don't really want? Maybe you feel like, I don't know, maybe some of you watching this feel like trolling being an asshole or something. But did you ever have a position in your life where you don't want to hurt anybody's feelings or offend anybody, or somebody you know, and you're trying to disguise a laugh as a cough when you're in front of a bunch of people, I don't care where it is, and you're going, you know, like that. But all right, so, and I made this, I was making a small reference, I'm telling the whole story, but anyway, I once hit a guy in the face with a Bible. It was, you know, a guy, well, anyway, to make a long story short, I actually won unemployment, won a wrongful discharge thing because the bigger boss was on vacation and the guy wasn't really authorized to fire me. And his firing, this was a job I held for 10 years and then went to college after, but it was determined that his firing was a violation of my rights and that he could have went to the big boss about it. But before I left anyway, I was studying all kinds of things, occult books, religious books, and different things. And I took this book right here was one of the ones with, well, I was reading the Book of Enoch and different things, and I had the Key of Solomon. I used to have in my workstation because the kind of line of work I was doing back then, you were able to have coffee next to you and you were assembling products and you were able to have a radio. You weren't, you know. So I used to have all these books I had at home, and during lunchtime I'd read them or I'd have it open over there. And before I left, I was, you know, I was studying all kinds of things, and I was sick of religion, but there's a part I wanted to salvage. But anyway, I actually made a quote about, I forget exactly how I said it, that something somewhere was higher than him or something like that. Fuck him, you know. But I took his glasses right off of his face, and we were nose to nose. Threw them down on the floor next to there was area under machines where they had sawdust and things or whatever stuff to absorb hydraulic fluid that would leak out of machines. Took his glasses, threw them off. I mean, I was trying to contain myself from actually, you know, don't want to put anybody in a hospital, break their jaw, like, because it has its liabilities, you know, court. So I took his glasses, threw them, and I took it, slapped him across the face with one of these, you know, and then left and stuff like that because but yeah, I hit a guy in the face with a Bible once and did it, you know what I mean? It was kind of strange how I led up to it. It was just, I think it was a combination of gathering my things to go, and I was saying how low he had to be just because he's in a position of authority, just because he can, with his snarky arrogance. You know, I can treat you any way I please, and you're gonna be, and you sit down and take it, or else you're gonna be destitute. Or touch me, I can have you thrown in jail and make sure you don't ever get a job anywhere, and you'll be nothing but a, and even to a point where they're probably wishing and praying real hard for you to get addicted to some kind of drug so they could make you lower. So there's another thing that I need to preach more too, is that people want you, and there's people out there that want you to be destitute and want you to commit suicide, and actually pray for you to get addicted to some drugs or alcohol or something, even if you drink or smoke a cigarette or smoke a joint now and then, anybody out there. But I'm trying to tell you guys why it's better to not. And there is a thing that the preacher says about how people curse you, even if they don't outright do it. They say it in an innuendo in front of your face, or so you can hear it behind your back. There's a good things that a preacher will say about it, how people do curse you. I should make in another video. So anyway, what I did in this video, I end up saying that this video is listenable or watchable to people that already know me. So I end up saying things in a separate video in one video. Screw it, but I think I'll make another video later specifically on this topic, because I say it in Blog Full of Time. I say it, my girlfriend, we say we preach it, and I read this in books that you know what, I should even say separately, right? Maybe make a separate video right now. So I didn't even know if I want to take this video apart and edit it and turn it into, sometimes when I go on and on videos I have in the past, you know what, instead of like posting them the way they are, or sometimes I'll post it the way it is and I'll cut it apart for the subject matter and post it into separate videos, because I ended up saying something that could have been in a separate video, but fuck it, you know. But anyway, I don't know what the hell I want to title this, you know, but I ended up saying the more than one thing that way, you know what I mean? But that's to say it while you can, because then you end up having a brain fart, or what I'd call a writer's block, you can call blogger's block. You know, you're talking somebody else to death outside of you. I talk about that all the time. And I can make a video out of that, where if you were around here around me right now, I mean, I could say that I'm bad at making a video or whatever, and I got better over the years, but a real person, I'll sit there and fucking talk you to death. But then, you know, you make a video, you don't know how it's going, but yeah, it's like writer's block, you know. I don't claim to be any better than any other bloggers. Everybody's better than me, and whether I'll make some kind of what looks like a troll comment or a comment on and on, I said it. I know one of you will be watching that I do on your YouTube. I said in advance, I'm a better writer sometimes than I am a blogger, and whatever, I don't know, comes out.